Daniel here for Tabletop for One. Please join me at the table as I unbox Warfighter Fantasy. And I thank you for joining me for this unboxing of Warfighter, the fantasy card game, the Plumeria core game. This has been one I've been waiting for. And now this is a review copy of the game, so bear that in mind. And I also have a very friendly relationship with some of the employees at Dan Verssen Games, so do bear that in mind when it comes to my videos here. I'm definitely biased towards the Warfighter series. I even have the tattoo, after all, on my arm. So yeah, there's a lot of bias towards this. I just want to throw that out there ahead of time. But let's go ahead and check it out here. And so we have Warfighter Fantasy takes the Warfighter card game series to the fantasy era. You begin each adventure by selecting your heroes and equipping them with weapons, equipment, and skills. During the adventure, you'll engage hostile creatures as you advance through the locations on the way to your objective. It looks great. I love the fantasy theme. It'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, been a huge Warfighter World War II fan, and so I'm definitely looking forward to this. And so we have the updated rulebook, which is going to include the fantasy stuff as well. And wow, this is a big rulebook now. It's definitely growing. And we have our keyword sheet here. So I'm not going to go through this entire rulebook. Now, I do have a tutorial and solo playthrough of Warfighter World War II in North Africa. So if you want to check out a playthrough of a Warfighter type game, then you can do that there. But this here is a comprehensive universal rulebook that includes all the different Warfighter cores and how to play each of them. And so it goes over each of the cards, and you'll see like these ones here are World War II cards. These ones here are the modern era. And so there's all the different kinds of cards. Then you have, this is a PMC here, Warfighter Modern PMC. And yeah, so here's some of the Warfighter Fantasy stuff. So we have the hero cards, skill cards, gear cards, deity cards. That's something new. We have the vulnerable, and that's a new concept to Warfighter. And I believe it says it doesn't use suppresses like modern and World War II. It uses vulnerables, and so that's a whole different kind of way of doing the game. There's also like new kinds of monsters and a lot of hand-to-hand combat, which you don't always do in a Warfighter. So this is really interesting. There's items you can use, healing potions, and then of course there's a bunch of expansion packs as well. And so there's spells, shields, divine powers, and so on. So, like I said, I'm not going to go through this entire rulebook here. I do plan on making a tutorial and solo playthrough video. Now, they gave me this review copy without any promise to make any videos. But I do plan on making a tutorial solo playthrough video of it. That's going to be in the near future. I have a lot on my plate at the moment, but we'll see if I can get that to the table soon. And so this is a keyword here, Warfighter keyword, and it's really helpful because a lot of the cards come with keywords. A lot of this is intuitive, and once you learn them, it's a lot easier to recall them, but this is really handy. It's all alphabetical, so you just go by the letters here. And I love the fact that they include this. This is very, very helpful and necessary to the game. This game is rules heavy, but like I said, a lot of it is intuitive, so it's a very, very good game. All right, we have the Nation Guide to Plumeria. Okay, so this is something new. And so we have the Warfighter Warverse here, and how to use this guide and to go forth. Talking about Danbrook, oldest towns in Plumeria. I'm assuming that's named after Dan Verssen. We have Silvergate, Thornkeep, and let's see, Morwall, Padon, Primborough, and Oldfeld, Laford and Shaywood, Wabrick and Zanekeep, and Fayrest, or Fayerst, I can't even say that, and then Inkot, and then Casimir. So these are all the different areas and a little bit of lore behind it all, and they're all located here. And that's great. All right, so here's the Warfighter Fantasy card game manual itself. And we're going to look through some of this a little bit here. So it has an overview of the tactical display here, the hostile cards. The tactical display is something different because in Warfighter, you always have the cards lined up and the locations and your characters going through each location. This is different here. This is a dungeon setup, so it'd be interesting to see how that works. Alright, so we have different skill cards here, stuff like backstab, melee skill, divine powers, heal, and equipment cards. Here's some of the counters that we're going to see, so a whole bunch of different counters. Warfighter is known for a lot of its counters. Here are adventure cards, type of dungeon, the resources you get to use, how much time you have to use, and that sort of thing. All this stuff I'll go over in my tutorial. Selecting an adventure card, minions, hostile cards, heroes, non-player heroes, team heroes, squad heroes. They're all different kinds of heroes. They have different abilities and different loadouts. Then we have hand-to-hand cards, gear cards, and weapon cards. Armor cards as well. And then we have divine power cards, skill cards, and deity cards, and so on. A lot of really good stuff here. I'll show you a lot of these cards when I open up the card packs, but completing the objective. Awesome. It all looks really good, and there's a campaign mode as well. Yeah, a lot of rules to go through. Making the tutorial will be interesting, that's for sure. Alright, so here is the campaign, I guess? I'm not exactly sure. Deployment campaign. Okay. Yeah, so this looks like a campaign here. It's on a mounted board and everything. Alright, so here we have the tactical display. Let's see how this looks. And it's a smaller sized one. And that's pretty nice because, you know, we're going to have like table space for all our cards and stuff. And it looks like you'll have hostile cards, striking range, range 0, and that sort of thing. Locations. Different locations here. So you play a card, I'm assuming, to those locations. You have the campaign map here. All the turn order sequence, which is really helpful. How attack, hits, and miss work. Yeah, looks great. Looks very similar to Warfighter, but with a nice fantasy theme to it. Alright, and so we have some nice colorful counters here. That's pretty cool. Looks good. Double-sided. They all look pretty good here. Yep, lots of counters. Good thing I have my handy-dandy DVG counter trays to hold all this stuff and to organize it. I highly recommend DVG counter trays or GMT counter trays. I usually carry a stock of both, and I use them for a lot of different board games. And let's see, we got a whole bunch of cards here. All right, lot of cards. And so you have the standard 3 D10s here and 1 D6, and that's going to be for doing your rolls for combat and stuff. Alright, and so we have a whole bunch of cards to go through here. So these are some of the mana spells, wizard skills, all the different skills for different classes here. And so we have some of the fighter skills here. We have melee speed, speed 2, melee skill, weapon expertise, number 2, movement, drawn hostiles, battle sense, strong, melee expertise again. And then we have oath of courage. And then we have cleric, melee speed, strong, movement, melee skill, weapon experience, casting speed, divine power skill, devotion, divine favor, melee expertise, and vow of devotion. And then we have thief, back alley skills 1 and 2, backstab, backstab 2, melee speed, weapon expertise, pickpocket, appraisal, dodgy, mark of secrecy. And then the wizard, we have casting speed, powered up, mana skill, focused, experience, sigil of power. And then here's some wizard spells here. We have ice bolt, fire hands, ice lance, fire blast, ice spray, ice storm, fireball, mouse scout, distraction, minor deflect, enchanted falcon, and enchanted spikes. These are wizard mana spells. Yeah, so those are pretty cool there. And then we have some item cards here. So we have Holy Symbol of the Light, Minor Heal Scroll, Divine Insight, Minor Heal, Attack, Faith Potion, Shadows Potion, Toughness, Focus, Speed, Secret Passage Map, Small Treasure Chest, Fine Sword, Leather Armor, Mace, Tome of Learning, Vulcan's Ring, Fire Rubies. We have 1 mystical coin, 2 mystical coins, shadow daggers, balanced broadsword, orc slayer, anointed mortalis mace, and crafted leather armor, ice spray wand, volcanic ruby, and fitted chainmail armor. Wow, that's awesome. And then for our heroes here, we have a whole bunch of cards. And we have Gareth, and they have different levels here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then Aaron, and he goes to 6. Vex, and Eleanor, Colin, Tolonar, and then Herka, Bartok, Whisper, Kaimor, and Rika. It's a lot of different heroes to choose from here. And then we have the action cards here. So we have Attack, Swarm, Deadly Attack, Unengaged, Flank Attack, Advancing Attack, 1x1 or 1-on-1, Charge, Clash, Rush In, Melee, Endure, Block, Inspiration, Second Strike, Critical Hit, Move, and Undaunted, Shadow Action, Casting, Quiet, Location Markers. And so there's a whole bunch of location markers. Looks like about 10, 11 location markers there. And then we have some of our locations here, and there's different kinds. There's Legendary, Renowned, Common, Nuisance, and so on. So we have different locations. So we have a lair here, Torchlit Corridor, Warming Fire, Locked Door, Dart Trap, Spike Trap, Blade Trap, Pit Trap, Lava Flow, Long Corridor, Hidden Stairs, Place of Darkness, Lair again, Locked Door, looks like some of these are repeat, Locked Chest, Maze, Place to Rest, Rescue the Prisoner, Lava Flow, Dart Trap, Falling Rocks, Blade Trap, Flame Trap, Long Corridor, Lair, Lava Flow again, Locked Door, Pit Trap, Treasure Room, Long Corridor, Lair, Locked Door, and Falling Rocks. And then we have the hostiles here. So there's Legendary, Renowned, Common, and Nuisance again. And so we have Giant Rats, Cave Sturges, Orc Spearmen, Berserkers, Dungeon Lizards, Vampire Bats, Giant Centipede, Goblin Archer, Goblin Warriors, Skeletal Swordsmen. We have green slimes, harpies, and cave spiders, fire ants, giant rats, more orcs, harpies, cave troll, gnoll warriors, skeletal archers, fire elemental, cave bandits, piranhakeets. Those look awful. Skeletal swordsman, stone golem, fire elemental, dungeon lizard, lesser ice demons, lava golem, wraith captain, flying fiends, and Elder Punisher. All right. And then here's some objectives, and we have objective locations, adventures, and towns, and they're all kind of joined together here. So we have Dambrook, which we have the Dambrook Crypts, the Mausoleum, and Aegon is the monster. We have Primborough with Swamp Caves, Slime Pit, and Ulash. We have Ulfeld with Yilgor, Fire Caves, and the Queen. We have Paddon with Iron Hill, Grim's Forge, Grim Axe, Thornkeep with Thorn Graveyard, Flame Grotto, and Gritmore, Silvergate with Skyline, the Eyrie, and was that Bashira? And then we have Wabrick with Spinner's Realm, Spinner's Lair, and the Spinner, Shaywood with the Twisted Grove, Barracks, and the Chieftain Urg. We have LaFord with Thorga, Dur, and Grond's Cave and Grond. And we have Zang Keep with Zang Runes, Zang's Throne, and Wizard Zang. Morwall with Tower of Morwall, Dark Study, and Morgoth. Inkot with Moloch's Pit, The Portal, and Moloch. And then Ferrist with the Forsaken Temple, Haunted Hall, and the Zurian Lich. And then Casimir with Kaza Undor, Worm's Lair, and Worm. Wow, lots of different places there. And then finally we have Odin's powers, shields, armors, and other weapons and stuff here. And different items, picks and tools, backpack, holy symbol, torch, water skin, herbal bandage, map fragment, leather straps, holy water, old dagger, old sword, short sword, old long sword, broadsword, great sword, axe, battle axe, old mace, mace, flail, great mace, old leather armor, studded armor, old chainmail armor, scale armor, old medium shield. And then for Odin's powers here we have minor heal, intervention, stand firm, haste, divine storm, let there be light, heal, action blessing, divine insight, take heart, ward, and then a card that specifically talks about using the Odin's powers. Alright, and so there you go. That was the unboxing of Warfighter, the fantasy card game. I was a little thorough on the cards, so you can see if you've gotten everything in the cards that you're supposed to get. Stay tuned for a tutorial solo playthrough of Warfighter Fantasy. Please also like and subscribe to this channel if you like the content you see here. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, I have a link in the description. And I thank everybody who has supported me thus far. And I thank you very much for joining me on Tabletop for One. Have a great night.